Welcome to Motivation at Hand. To know is to know how. Make your foot the foot that counts. In The Hague, the world wants to hear. South Africa said, genocide. We cannot bear. Against Israel's actions, they now contend. Genocide in Gaza, a battle to defend. The ICJ spoke, their orders profound. South Africa's case, on justice, they're bound. A legal battle, on the world's grand stage. For Gaza's people, in this modern age. With courage and purpose, South Africa stands tall. To end the suffering, they've heeded the call. In the ICJ's halls, their case takes its flight. Seeking justice for Gaza, in the world's common sight. In the fight against genocide, is well on its way. World protest every day. The International Court of Justice, ICJ, ruling on Friday, January 26, 2024, the Genocide Convention and the rules applied by the ICJ ruling. Regarding the case of application of the Convention on the Prevention and Punishment of the Crime of Genocide in the Gaza Strip, South Africa versus Israel, has raised significant attention to the Genocide Convention and the legal principles underlying the court's decision. Here, we provide an overview of the Genocide Convention and the key rules applied by the ICJ in its ruling. In a landmark ruling, the International Court of Justice, ICJ, has issued provisional measures against Israel in response to a case brought forth by South Africa, accusing Israel of committing acts that may amount to genocide in the Gaza Strip. The ICJ found that the conditions necessary for indicating provisional measures, as stipulated by its statute, were met. The court emphasized the urgency of the situation, citing a real and imminent risk of irreparable harm to the rights claimed by South Africa. As a result, the ICJ has issued a series of measures aimed at protecting these rights while the case proceeds to a final decision. These measures include: 1. The Genocide Convention, 1948. Formerly known as the Convention on the Prevention and Punishment of the Crime of Genocide, was adopted by the United Nations General Assembly on December 9, 1948, and entered into force on January 12, 1951. It is a crucial international treaty that seeks to prevent and punish acts of genocide. Genocide, as defined by the Convention, encompasses specific acts committed with the intent to destroy, in whole or in part, a national, ethnic, racial, or religious group. These acts include killing members of the group, causing serious bodily or mental harm to group members, deliberately inflicting conditions of life calculated to bring about the group's physical destruction, and imposing measures intended to prevent births within the group. 2. Preventing acts of genocide. By a vote of 15-2, the ICJ has ordered Israel to take all necessary measures within its power to prevent acts within the scope of Article 2 of the Convention on the Prevention and Punishment of the Crime of Genocide. This includes preventing the killing of group members, causing serious bodily or mental harm, deliberately inflicting conditions of life leading to physical destruction, and imposing measures to prevent births within the group. Military accountability. By the same vote margin, Israel is instructed to ensure that its military forces immediately cease any acts described in the first measure. Preventing incitement. The ICJ has called on Israel to prevent and punish direct and public incitement to commit genocide in relation to members of the Palestinian group in the Gaza Strip. This measure received 16 votes in favor and 1 against. Humanitarian assistance. By a vote of 15-2, the ICJ has directed Israel to take immediate and effective measures to provide urgently needed basic services and humanitarian assistance to alleviate the adverse conditions faced by Palestinians in the Gaza Strip. Preservation of evidence. Israel is obligated to take effective measures to prevent the destruction and Ensure the preservation of evidence related to allegations of acts within the scope of Article 2 and Article 3 of the Genocide Convention against members of the Palestinian group in the Gaza Strip. Reporting to the court, Israel is required to submit a report to the ICJ on all measures taken to implement these provisional measures within 1 month from the date of the court's order. The ICJ emphasized that its orders on provisional measures have binding international legal effect, creating obligations for the party to whom they are addressed. This decision, however, does not prejudge the court's jurisdiction to address the merits of the case or any questions related to the admissibility of the application. Additionally, the ICJ expressed grave concern about the fate of hostages abducted during an attack in Israel in October 2023 and held by Hamas and other armed groups, calling for their immediate and unconditional release. The ruling comes amid growing international attention to the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, with recent polling in the United States indicating that over a third of Americans now believe that Israel is committing genocide against the Palestinians. In response to the ruling, Judge Joan Donoghue stated that it highlights the urgency of the situation and the real and imminent risk of irreparable harm to the rights found to be plausible by the court. She emphasized that the provisional measures are essential to protect these rights while the case proceeds to its final decision. The ruling has been hailed by South Africa and Palestinians as a significant step towards addressing the alleged genocide in the Gaza Strip. It is now up to the international community to ensure that the ICJ's decision is effectively implemented. 3. The impact and significance of the ruling. The ICJ ruling highlights the gravity of the situation in the Gaza Strip and the allegations of genocide. It underscores the importance of international legal mechanisms in addressing and preventing acts of genocide. The ruling has been hailed by South Africa and Palestinians as a significant step towards addressing the alleged genocide in the Gaza Strip. It also underscores the role of the ICJ in upholding international law and human rights. The international community will be closely watching the implementation of the ICJ's provisional measures and the eventual outcome of the case as it proceeds to its final decision. The ruling serves as a reminder of the Genocide Convention's importance and the commitment of the international community to preventing and punishing the crime of genocide. 4. Rules applied by the ICJ in the ruling. The ICJ ruling in the South Africa vs. Israel case applied several key rules and principles. 5. Urgency and imminent risk. The court emphasized the urgency of the situation, stating that there was a real and imminent risk of irreparable prejudice to the rights found by the court to be plausible. This criterion is essential for indicating provisional measures. 6. Prevention of genocide. The ICJ ordered Israel, in accordance with its obligations under the Genocide Convention, to take all measures within its power to prevent acts that fall within the scope of Article 2 of the Convention. This includes preventing killing, causing harm, deliberately inflicting conditions of life leading to destruction, and imposing measures to prevent births within the targeted group. 7. Military accountability. Israel was instructed to ensure that its military forces immediately cease any acts described in the Genocide Convention. 8. Preventing incitement. The ICJ called on Israel to prevent and punish direct and public incitement to commit genocide in relation to members of the Palestinian group in the Gaza Strip. 9. Humanitarian assistance. Israel was directed to take immediate and effective measures to provide urgently needed basic services and to address the adverse conditions faced by Palestinians in the Gaza Strip. 10. Preservation of evidence. Israel must take effective measures to prevent the destruction and ensure the preservation of evidence related to allegations of acts within the scope of the Genocide Convention. Reporting to the court. Israel is required to submit a report to the ICJ on all measures taken to implement the provisional measures within 1 month, Monday, February 26, 2024 from the date of the court's order. The ICJ stressed that its orders on provisional measures have binding international legal effect and create obligations for the party to whom they are addressed. In a month's time, they'll return to the court. ICJ's proceedings, where conflicts resort. Awaiting the outcome, what will transpire? Holding their hopes, as they inquire. To stop the slaughter, South Africa seeks. With uncertainty looming, it's not just some leaks. Much appreciation to you for giving of your time with us at Motivation at Hand. To know is to know how. We trust you will come back soon.